When we include charts and graphs in our teaching materials, we often assume they're easy to interpret. But for many students with visual impairments or cognitive processing differences, data visualizations can become barriers instead of supports. In this video, we'll look at practical strategies you can use to make charts and data visualizations more accessible and easier to understand. Color can be incredibly effective in helping viewers see patterns and differences in data, but only when it's used thoughtfully. When designing a chart, think about more than just what looks appealing. Consider how much contrast exists between colors. A good rule of thumb is text should meet a contrast ratio of at least 4.5 to 1. Also consider whether text is readable against its background. Any text that appears in a visualization, titles, access labels, legends, or data values, needs sufficient contrast against its background. You also need to consider whether color is being used to communicate meaning on its own. For adjacent data elements, such as bars in a bar chart or slices in a pie chart, adding a solid border around each section helps visually separate the parts. This creates an extra layer of distinction that doesn't rely on color alone. Contrast isn't just important for text, it also applies to the visual elements of your chart. Bars in a bar chart or segments in a pie chart should stand out clearly against the background and from each other. One of the most common accessibility issues in charts is relying on color as the only way to communicate information. If someone can't perceive color differences, that meaning may be lost entirely. To avoid this, pair color with another indicator, such as patterns, shapes, or text labels. Use annotation or labels that clarify what each data element represents. This ensures that the information remains understandable even if color isn't visible or distinguishable. So we see in this first chart, this bottom line is incredibly light. The color contrast ratio isn't high enough. And if someone couldn't tell the difference between red and blue, the differences between these lines would be nothing at all. So if you aren't able to perceive the color, there is no way to tell which line represents the in-person versus online versus hybrid. In the example to the right, even if someone cannot tell the colors, there's still a pattern. Ideally, if we had more room, we could label each line over here on the right. We could put in-person, hybrid, and online to make it even more clear. Ideally, we should also have a table with the data with this graph. Every chart, simple or complex, should clearly identify its key components. At a minimum, make sure you include a descriptive chart title, clearly label horizontal and vertical axes, legends or labels that explain what the data represents. In addition, provide alt text for brief visual summaries or a longer description that explains the purpose of the chart and highlights the most important trends or takeaways. Whenever possible, use direct labeling like the pie chart on the right, placing the labels right next to the data they describe, instead of forcing viewers to look back and forth between the chart and a legend. Put the value or category name directly beside the bar, line, or pie slice. This approach reduces cognitive effort, helps users who have difficulty matching colors, and speeds up comprehension for everyone. The pie chart on the right, with a different color contrast and textures and labels, makes the pie chart much easier to understand. As you create charts and data visualizations for your course materials, keep these key principles in mind. First, avoid relying on color alone to communicate meaning. If color is the only indicator, important information may be lost to students who can't perceive those differences. Whenever possible, label data directly on the chart. Direct labeling reduces cognitive effort and makes visualizations faster and easier to understand. Adding patterns or textures alongside color provides an extra layer of distinction, especially for viewers viewing charts in grayscale or with color vision difficulties. When possible, use titles that do more than describe the chart. A strong title explains the main point of the data, helping students understand the takeaway before they even examine the details. Viewers typically read the chart title first and often rely heavily on it to interpret the data. This means your title shouldn't just describe what the chart shows, it should communicate also why it matters. Good alt text includes a sentence of what the chart is, including the chart type, for users with limited vision or may only see part of it. It should also include a link to a machine-readable data format so people with impaired vision can tab through the chart data with a screen reader. Small design choices like this can significantly improve accessibility and clarity for everybody. There are some very helpful websites to help you check color contrast ratio. WebAIM has a contrast checker. I also really like this one from Siege Media, where you can actually use an eyedropper to grab the color from your document. So for example, let's test out the color contrast from my slide with that very light line color. I'm just going to use the eyedropper and find my line, and it automatically detects my color and gives me a color ratio. So we need to be aiming for at least 4.5 to 1, and right now I'm at 1.2 to 1. So not even close for appropriate color contrast. Let's test out a different color to see how I did. I'll grab that one, and that one is much better. This color blindness simulator is also very helpful. You can upload a file of an image and see what it would look like for people for different color blindness issues. Thank you so much for watching this video, and good luck with your accessibility efforts.